All right, we are at the top of the hour, and I heard the cuckoo clock downstairs ring, so it's time to begin. Welcome, everybody, to this month's this month's episode of the ACT Training Webinar Series. Today, we're going to talk about ACT Marketing Automation, and specifically what we want to do today is give you kind of a beginner's guide to getting started. This is the result of some requests, a lot of requests that we've received from some of you who come here month in and month out and have just said you need to know more about ACT Marketing Automation and specifically just how to get going. Maybe you're intimidated, maybe you just don't know where to begin or how just to do the basic simple things. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to tell a story for you and kind of show you some easy things that you can do just to get started and also see some returns on that work right away. Before we begin, though, let me do a few house cleaning things. So if you're new to this series, what we do here is I deliver this webinar for about 45 minutes to an hour. And during this time, you might have questions. Well, we definitely want you to ask your questions. I've got 2 or 3 folks on the line here that you can ask questions to. Just use the Q&A panel inside Zoom. And we've got some experts online who will be able to field those for you. All I ask is that you try and keep your questions on topic. Today, we're talking about ACT Marketing Automation. So if you ask questions on Outlook integration and other things, you might not get the answer you want. So today, we're talking about ACT Marketing Automation. Also, this is going to be recorded. This is probably the most common question is, will I get a recording of this? And the answer is yes. When you signed up for this, you gave us your email address, and we will send a link to this recording to you, to your email address. But also, if you go to act.com/explore, you'll be able to see every webinar that we've done up to this point. I think this is the 20th one that we've done. So you'll be able to see that library of all the previous webinars, including this one. As soon as it's finished, we upload it pretty quickly. And also on that webpage, you can sign up. If you have somebody else who wants to attend these, send them that link, and they'll be able to sign up on that page as well. That's act.com/explore. Also at the end, when you leave this webinar, you may be asked to fill out a survey. Please fill that out. It doesn't take long, and it really helps us out. It gives us some feedback on what we're doing right and what we can improve on, and even ideas for future webinars. We'd really like to know what you want to know so that we can tailor these to meet what you guys need. So with that said, let's begin here today. My agenda is to talk about several different things here. We're going to talk about generating leads from your website. I'm going to set up a form using ACT Marketing Automation, which will prompt prospective customers to give me their information for a reason, which I'll talk about. Then we're going to design an email from the email templates area of ACT Marketing Automation. I'm going to show you how it's fairly easy to do. It's drag and drop, and you can customize it however you want. And you can even preview the emails before you send them out. And then we're going to put it all together with a campaign, which has an email step in it. We're going to send that campaign out to a targeted group of people in our database. And then we're going to see the results after that campaign is over. So that's kind of a lot to cover, but I think we'll be able to do it in the time we have. And at the end, I have some setup tips that may have been speed bumps for a few of you, how to get started. What are some of the admin settings that you should enable so that everything is working the way you want? And even at the end, for those of you who are on ACT Premium Desktop, I'm going to show you one step that you have to do, or else you won't even see ACT Marketing Automation. So I want to make sure I cover that because I know some of you have stumbled over that in the past. My name is Brent Milner. I've been working with ACT here for over 18 years. My job is to create videos, to create learning curriculum, to educate our new employees, our old employees, and everybody in between. I also help train some of our partners and customers like you. I live in northern Arizona in the part that isn't sweltering desert. I live up in the woods there, and I have a lot of fun. So today, we're going to talk first of all about how to generate leads from your website, how to get new customers, and using a simple form that you can create using Act Marketing Automation to request information from people who are your customers or who aren't yet your customers. And the reason we're going to do that is so that we can build a group of people to whom we can then interact with using an email inside Act Marketing Automation. So one of the calls that we get from time to time is from customers who say they can't see anything inside the marketing automation area of Act. So I'm going to jump in here and we're going to have a look and see what some of you might be seeing. Now, what I'm doing is I'm going to log in as one of my users. His name is Randy Savage, and he does not have yet any permissions to see Act Marketing Automation. So when he logs in, he might see a screen like this, and he clicks Marketing Automation in the left navigation. And what happens is he gets this error at the top that says you don't have permissions to complete this action. Contact your administrator. And if you've ever seen this screen, or if any of your employees have ever seen this screen, it's because they're missing permissions to see Act Marketing Automation. So as the admin of the account, what you need to do is log into Act Marketing Automation, and then in the top right corner, just click your name. Now, this is if you're on the Act Premium Cloud version. If you're in the desktop version, you'll go to the Tools menu and you'll choose Manage Users. So either way, you're going to get to the same place. I'm going to click User Management in the top right corner of the cloud version, and you're going to see a screen that looks like this. What we need to do is assign permissions to the user or users who should be able to interact with Act Marketing Automation. So this is a list of all my users, and it shows me their names, their usernames, their security role, and so on. What I'm going to do is locate Randy here, and I'm going to give him permission now to see Act Marketing Automation. So after I click his name, I'm just going to click Edit User Information in the left. If you're on the desktop version, it'll have a similar link, Edit User Information or Add Permissions. Either one will work. Once you click that, you'll be able to see his information now. You can click Next to get to the Add Permission area, or you can just click the Add Permissions link on the left. But what you want to do is see a screen that looks like this, Add Permissions. It has two columns, which are up here in Windows here now. Each of these little window panes represents permissions that are available inside Act. Now, the one on the left is all the permissions that are available, and the column on the right is the permissions that have been assigned to this user. Notice that there's nothing for Randy that mentions AMA or Act Marketing Automation. So what we need to do is on the left side, add the AMA permissions that we want Randy to have. So if I want him to work with campaigns, I'm going to click that and I'm going to move it over to the right. Okay, same thing with templates and anything else that I want him to have. Now, I would caution you to against giving anybody else the AMA admin permissions. I usually just like to keep those admin permissions with the account administrator. But if you trust them, then yeah, go ahead and give them the admin. But most of the time, it's a case of too many cooks in the kitchen. So give them the permissions that they should have, and then click Finish. And once you do that, you'll see a little message here which you can close. And now we can close out of this Manage Users window. If I go back now to Randy, he'll need to log off and log in again. So tell him to log in again, and he should be able to see his permissions, or that he has permissions to that area now. So I'm going to log in as Randy. And once this loads, I will click the marketing administration link in the left navigation area. And now, instead of getting that error at the top of the screen, I should see that Act Marketing Automation loads for him. And there we go. So if you've ever experienced that, or any of your users have experienced that, that's a solution that you can do just to give them access to that. Okay, so let's start using Act Marketing Automation. Now, in my example today, let me go to my other window here. In my example today, what I want to do is promote. So the story I'm going to tell is promoting a new product release that's going to happen in a few months. We'll say August. There are many different business scenarios that you could use Act Marketing Automation to enhance. This is just going to be my example for today. And for this upcoming product release, I'm going to use it as an opportunity to generate new leads of potential customers. I want to create an email campaign that promotes this event once the date draws near. So I'm going to begin by generating some solid leads from my website. And to do this, what I want to do is create a form on my website that tells people, hey, if you want to learn about upcoming releases, sign up for our emails for upcoming releases. So we have one coming up in August. Give me your name and your email address and some other things, and we'll send you an email when that release is coming. Because everybody wants to be the first to know about what's happening. So this puts the power in their hands. And when they sign up for this email, I'll have all kinds of new leads. The first thing that you should do is to identify this audience of people who will be signing up through your form by grouping them together. It's important to use groups in ACT because groups are what we send our marketing emails to. Groups are great for running reports. Groups are great for doing lots of different things. So I'm going to create a specific group that consists of people who sign up for my email. Okay, so before we even create the form, before we even design the email or the campaign, I want to start with a group so that we have, so that we can grow this as a group of people who we will be interacting with. So I'm going to click the groups area in ACT. There's that little groups button in the left navigation, and it takes me to my groups, shows me all of my current groups in here. And we're just going to create a new one. So up in the top right, I'm going to click Create New. And all I need to do really is just give this group a name. So let's just call it Product Release Emails. What I want this to do eventually is be a group that contains a bunch of contacts who have signed up for my product release emails. That's it. I don't even need to add contacts to this group yet. We'll be doing that automatically. So I'm going to save this. Make sure you save it. And then that group will appear in the tree view. And that's it. We're all done. We're going to let this get populated in the next few steps. So I've mentioned that I want to send out marketing emails to promote an upcoming product release, or maybe several. Maybe I have one in August, one in November, one in January, whatever it might be. I want to make sure that I send it out to people who request it, because remember, it's important to obtain permission before you send out any emails like this, marketing emails. You don't want your customers to accuse you of spamming them with unsolicited emails. So we're going to let them make the choice. We're going to use a landing page, which consists of a form, to let them sign up to request the emails so that it's on them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into marketing automation, and we're going to have a look in the landing pages area so that we can create this form, and I'll show you how easy it is to do. So here's the Act Marketing Automation screen. At the top, I'm just going to click landing pages. This takes us into our landing pages area where I can now create a form. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to my actions menu here, and I'm going to choose new page. And this shows us a lot of different templates of landing pages that we could use. You might have a landing page for registering for an event, a landing page that is basically a contact us form. There's one for unsubscribing. There's a few different ones here. I'm going to use this contact us template. And what this will do is it will pre-populate my form with the fields that I want. So I don't have to start from scratch in this instance. I'm going to click continue here and fill out some of the fields that I see here. So this is the contact us form. I'm just going to call this, we'll call it product release emails. And that's all I really need to do. I could design a skin. I'm not going to go into that. I just want to keep it simple for today. So we're just going to give this a name and click continue. And then in step 2, it's going to send a notification to my email address here whenever anybody submits a form back to me. I could have an auto response campaign, but again, I'm going to keep it very simple. I don't want to get too deep into the trenches and kind of lose everybody here. So one thing you can do that might be useful is in this assign contact to field, you can assign anybody who fills out this form to one of your users in Act. So they would kind of be like the sales rep to them. So you can do that if you want. You don't have to even do that. I'm going to click create. And this will take me into the landing page workflow. Now here's how a workflow works. In this specific landing page, we have 3 steps. There's a start step, which really doesn't do anything except gives us a starting point for this workflow. Then you follow the arrow and it takes us to our next step, which is the form. This is where we will build the form that people will submit back to us. And then there is the end step. This is where the workflow ends, and we can add actions to this end step, which we'll do. But first, let's look at the form here. So I'm going to click that form, and what I'm going to do is edit the form. I want to see what is on that form currently. So I'll click go, and it takes me to the form template that has been created for me. Now, maybe at the top, I want to change the name of this page title. I don't want it to say contact us. Maybe I want it to say sign up for product release info. Okay, pretty simple. And that's just going to show up at the top of the page as the title. Submit button is fine for me, so I'm going to leave that alone. But now if we make sure I save this, actions menu and save to, I always got to make sure I save my changes. And then if we scroll down, we can see that there are 4 fields that have been created as part of this template. I have a name field, an email field, company, and phone number. And notice name and email are required fields, so they cannot submit the form unless they give me that information. All of these things are editable. I could make all 4 of these required if I want to, or none of them. You can reorder these. You can remove any of these fields. I'm not going to change anything, though. I want to keep it really simple for today. But I do want to tie this form back into my ACT database, my ACT account. And the way I want to do that is to make sure that I'm mapping each of these fields back to my ACT database. So for example, for the name field, I'm going to click the little options button on the right and choose edit. And this will give me all the specifics of that field, name. I could change it to say first and last name or full name, but I'm just going to leave it as name. I really don't want to do any changes. I want to keep everything super simple today. But down at the bottom where it says map to an ACT field, notice it's not mapping to anything yet. So I'm going to choose to map it to a field in ACT called full name. There it is, full name. That will take whatever they put in this field and it will put it into my ACT database as their first and last name. And that's it. I'm going to scroll up to the top and go to my actions menu and choose save and return. Now, whenever anybody fills out this form, I'll have their name in my database. And so really, I want to do the same thing for these other 3 fields so that I have all the data that they send me. So I'm going to do that really quickly. I'm going to edit each of these fields, scroll to the bottom, and I'm going to map it. So for email, I'm going to map it to the email address field. It says email address. I'll click save and return from the actions menu at the top. For company, I'm going to map that again to company. That one's easy to find. Save and return. And then this last one, the phone field, there's a couple options here for you because there are a few phone fields in ACT. I usually use the business phone. If you want to use the mobile phone, you can do that, but just make sure you change the label at the top of the screen so that they know they're giving you their mobile phone number. So I'm going to use business phone. Here it is. And this label at the top is right here where it says your question. It just says phone. So I could change this to say business phone, just so that they know which one they're giving me. I'm going to click save and return. Okay, so now you can see where I changed that label. It shows up here. So now I've added a mapping capability to each of those fields back into my ACT database. The last thing I want to do, though, is I need to add just a bit of text at the top because I want to explain to my potential customers what I'm doing here. This is just going to show up as a form with no context to it. So I need to add just some explanation text. To do that, I'm going to go to my actions menu and I'm going to add a control. So to add anything, any sort of components to this form, they're called controls. I'm going to add a new control here. And you can see there's lots of different controls. So if you want to build surveys or anything like that, there's lots of different options here that you can use when you're building forms like this. The control I want is called a label control. It's just going to be text only. It's not anything that users can interact with. It's just a label. So I'm going to click add control. And now I just need to enter the text that I want to appear on the screen. So fortunately, I typed it earlier, so I don't have to type a lot. I'm going to just paste it in here. And it says, to receive emails about future product releases, submit the form below. Okay. Maybe I could have made it a little friendlier than that, but I'll leave that to you all to be the wordsmiths there. But I'm going to go to save and return. And it's going to add this new label at the bottom. Well, I want it to be at the top. So fortunately, we have these little hamburger buttons, which act as clicking and dragging. So I can click this and I can move it to the top. And then when I drop it there, it'll show up here. Okay, so I could spend some time cleaning this up if I want. I kind of like the way it is now because it gets the point across. So again, I'm going to go to my actions menu at the top and choose save and return. And now my form is built. Now at the bottom of this screen, there's a link that says I can click this link to view this. So I'm going to click that. A new tab opens up and it shows me what my form will look like. Now, again, I'm just using the default skin, so it's gray and white. I have some videos that you can watch on how to create a skin for your form so that it matches your company's branding and colors, and you can add logos and things like that. But I didn't want to clutter up this time with all that. I want to make sure we have a functioning form that we can use today. And that's what this form is. So good, I've got that ready to go. Now at this point, you could point your customers to this link at the bottom. You could create a QR code and have that link be part of your QR code. You could even change this link. Notice how it's got all these crazy numbers and letters at the end. Maybe I want it to be something prettier than that. If you go to the actions menu and you choose edit page properties, there's a button in here on this properties window that says change URL. If I click that, it gives me that horrible string that I don't like, and I could just call it August release. You can't use spaces or anything in there. If I click save, it'll do a check to make sure that's a unique link that nobody else has used before. And now I have a link that I like better. There's also this iframe script button. If you click that, it's going to give you some HTML code inside of an iframe tag here, which you can then copy this and paste this into your website to embed that form on your website. So there's another option for you if you want to use that. Either way you go, you can start gathering contacts in your ACT database now. So I'm going to click save on this. And but I want to do one or two more things to make sure that these contacts go to the right place. Before I send this URL out to people and they start filling out the form, I want to add some actions to my end step. The way to do this, the easiest way to do this is to add everyone who submits this form to the group that I just created. So on my end stage, I'm going to click end, and I don't want to edit the end page just yet. What I want to do is edit end actions. So I'll click go, and you can see there's no actions that have been created yet. So we're going to create one. Under the actions menu, I'm going to choose a new action. This is where you put in the functionality that happens behind the scenes whenever somebody submits a form. And there are lots of different actions that you could enable here. You could add somebody to a campaign. You could add somebody to a group, which is what we're going to do. You could use this to create an opportunity record in ACT. You could send a notification to yourself whenever someone or somebody else, whenever someone fills out a form. There's a few different things you can do here. I'm going to do one thing only. I'm going to add them to a group. And so the group that I want to add them to is the one I created earlier, which was called, to remember the name of it, what's it called? Product release emails. There it is. That's the group I created in the very first step today. So I'll click go. So remember how I said we didn't need to add anybody to that group. This is the process that's going to do that for us. Whenever someone fills out that form and clicks submit, ACT says, okay, now let's add them to the group. So that's beautiful. I don't have to do any of that work. ACT is going to take care of that for me. Then the last thing I think I want to do is show what they will see once they click submit. So after they click submit to this form, we have to figure out what to do with them. Can't just show them an empty page. We gotta edit this end page. So if I click on that end step, I'm gonna edit the end page. And there's a few things that you can do here. You can either build your own HTML page, or you can just redirect them to somewhere else. So if you have your home page, maybe you just redirect them to that URL. Either way will work. I'm just going to create a real quick HTML page to show you what that looks like. So you might put in a message here. I've pre-typed this one also. It says, thanks for subscribing to the new release email list. Go back to our home page now. Okay. And then I can just highlight that text, and using these tools at the top, I could just say, go to www.act.com. That an S there, so that there's a link. And you can change also the fonts and things like that. This is very kind of rudimentary, but it gives them something to see after they submit the form. Again, I'm keeping it really simple. I'm not going into a lot of detail. You guys can build this up with all of your expertise, but I'm just going to keep it real simple here. Now I'm going to go save and return, and now we should be good to go. I'm going to grab this link here, and I'm going to submit it. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go to an incognito window and paste that URL so that we see the form as anybody else would see it. And now I'm going to fill it out. So this is going to be for Alan Pepperdine. And his email is Alan. This is just somebody that I made up. He works at Greenwood Brewing, and his phone number is 602-555-8577. Okay. So he's going to fill out this form and click submit because he wants to know more about product releases. And there we go. Now here's the little page that I built that says, thanks for subscribing. Now go back to our homepage now. And of course, if he clicks that, he's going to be taken back to act.com. So that's a quick way to build a form that can be used inside on your website, or a link that you can create and send out to people either by uh, pasting it on your website, or creating a QR code, or however you want to do it. Now that form is ready for them to use. If I go back to my groups area in ACT and I look at this product release emails group, I should see that eventually what will happen here is as the process runs, Alan Pepperdine will be added as a contact to this group. And this group will get populated over time. Now that our audience is ready to go, we can go to the next step. So we've created our form. We should now be gathering leads from our website. And the next thing we want to do is design some email communications. Now, one of the core features of ACT Marketing Automation is your ability to quickly design and send some good looking emails. So if I go back into ACT Marketing Automation here, what I'm going to do is look at the email templates area. This is where you will design templates that you can send out to your customers. When I click that, I have a list of all the templates that I've created in the past, but I want to create a new one. So I'm going to click from my actions menu on the right, I'm going to click new templates, and this will show me a list of templates from a video library. So there are a lot of pre-built, pre-designed templates. I don't know how many there are, 100 or 200 of them. There's a lot where you can scroll through this, pick one that seems to work for you, and build upon it. So you don't have to design these from scratch. You can use one of these from the library and then just replace things in there that you don't need and just design it from there. Now you can view these templates by type. So there are, sales templates, marketing templates, and so on. You can view them by industry too, if you're interested in maybe e-commerce templates or whatever. We have them sort of categorized here for you. So I'm going to use one that's called the wireframe launch template because I have a product launch that I want to promote. So I can see there's a template that kind of fits that purpose for me. So I'll click continue. It selects that template for me. And I'm just going to name this August New Products. Nobody's going to see that but me. I just have to have a name so that I know which template I'm talking about when I look at it in the future. I'm going to click save. And now ACT Marketing Automation is going to take me into the template builder with all of its features and functionality. Now, what I suggest doing when you're working with templates like this is to pay attention to these little tabs on the right. There are 3 different tabs: content, rows, and settings. I usually start on the right and work my way left, especially if you're starting from scratch. We may not need to do that since we're using a pre-designed template, but at least in the settings area, I like to set my content area width to what I want it to be. Now, this could be anything you want it to be. 600 is usually good, 500, whatever you want it to be. Test different widths to make sure you're getting what you like. And then you can also adjust alignments and background colors and the fonts that you're using here. That's what the settings area does. It sets defaults for each of those. These can be overridden as you begin designing. I mean, especially the fonts and link colors and stuff. But the settings area will set that default for you. The next thing I want to do is start adjusting this so that it displays the things I want it to see. So maybe I don't want this first row. What you can do is just click. You notice if I mouse over, it highlights the areas that I'm mousing over. If I highlight this entire row and click it, it gives me 3 options here. I can copy it, delete it. What I'm going to do is delete this row. I just don't want this top row. So when I click delete, it just removes that top row for me. The next thing I might want to do is put my logo at the top. So I see there is sort of like a placeholder logo here. If I click that, on the right, it takes me to this content tab. And then there's a button here that says change image. So all the details in this content area always focus on whatever it is you have selected. If it's an image, you'll see image properties. If it's text, you'll see text properties. So it's responsive to whatever it is you're highlighting in the left. I'm going to change this image. And when I click that, it's going to take me to my file manager where I have my image library. And, I suggest using your image library to host the images that you're going to use in any of your marketing emails. I also suggest creating folders here to sort of categorize your images so that they're easy to find later. You'll find that before too long, or at least I found this out, before too long, you can have just tons of images showing up here, and it's hard to really find the ones you want. So I started categorizing them, and it made it a lot easier for me by creating folders and stuff. So let's just choose this basic logo that I have here. When I click that, it puts the logo in place. So that's not bad. I might do some other things and change the background color so that it's, transparent or white or whatever, because I want white on white looks better. So there's just some things that you can do to sort of beautify that. And I don't want to get too detailed on those things. So I want to keep it really simple today. The next thing I want to do is add a merge title or a merge tag here. So maybe we want to personalize this to your customers. So I'm going to select this text. I'm just going to say hello and comma, period. And then I'm going to say, this is the new product email. Okay. Now where I left this space here, I want to make sure I put their first name in here so that it says hello to them specifically. With my cursor blinking in there, you'll see this little black formatting bar. If I click merge tags, it'll show me all the fields in ACT that I can merge into this to personalize it. So I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to look for a field called first name. When I click that, it adds this kind of awkward looking field tag. It's not going to say contact first name when they receive it. It's just going to say their first name. These little braces here tell the email to look in the ACT database for a value in the first name field for each record. So that's how we mail merge fields from ACT into it. Now we could spend some time adding text and explaining things. If you click the content tab, you'll see lots of different content items you can add. You can add text, you can add social links. If you have videos saved on YouTube or Vimeo, all you really need to do is just click and drag any of these items over and drop them here. Once you do that, in this example, I could paste a video from YouTube in there that I've created. And all I need is the URL to the video I want to use. It will go out and it'll grab the thumbnail from that video and it'll put it into this template. So there's a lot of different options here for you. Down at the bottom, we have some social media links, which you can also include in your emails. I think these are super useful. By default, it does Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. But you can remove some. If you don't want to use Twitter, then just click delete and it removes Twitter from that list. If you want to add others, you can just add maybe your YouTube one. So experiment with these. You can reorder these. You can move them around. You can change the way they look. So there's a lot of different options for you in this area. Make sure you go through here, though, and you edit and update the URLs for each of these buttons here so that it points to your social media and not to the Facebook homepage, for example. And once you've done that, of course, always at the top, we want to click Save to make sure we're saving this as we go. And the great thing about adding things like this is as my customers receive this email and click links in here, I'll be able to track that inside ACT. I'll know exactly when they opened this email and what links they clicked. So this ties back into ACT later on when we look at the reporting of this. At the very bottom, there are some items that are required. So there's an unsubscribe link that must be included with every email. You have to give your customers a way to unsubscribe. You won't even be able to activate this email without an unsubscribe link. Same thing with your company address. This must be in every email that you send out. And so that's what these tags are down there at the bottom. You're pretty safe on just never editing any of these. This will populate this stuff from your account at the bottom of your emails, and you should be good to go with that. At the top in our actions menu, if you want to reuse this, maybe I want to reuse this again sometime in the future for a November or a December product release. What I could do here is save a copy as, and basically duplicate this for another month. You can also send a test if you want to see how this email will look. You can send a test email to yourself. And you can even create a campaign from this email, but we're going to do that in a separate step. And then over on the left, we have these preview buttons where you can preview what this will look like. So this is how it's going to look if they view it on a desktop, or I can switch to my mobile device to see how it will look on a mobile smartphone. And that'll help you make some design decisions too, as you see how people will see it. So now that we have an email template, and of course, this is just the basics of an email template, what we want to do is build a campaign, and the campaign is going to let us schedule this email that goes out to the proper people at the proper time. We're going to use the group that we configured earlier, make sure this campaign gets assigned to that group, and then after we send it out, we'll be able to monitor the results of that. So the next thing I'm going to do is go into my campaigns area inside Act Marketing Automation. And this will let me see all the campaigns that I've created in the past. But now I'm going to create a new campaign. So over on the right, under the Actions menu, just going to click New Campaign. Again, there are a lot of templates here that we can use. There's a welcome campaign if you have new customers. If you're promoting a webinar, you could have a campaign for that. Here's a newsletter campaign, which I like to use a lot. So there are some templates that you can use, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from scratch because I just really want a basic campaign that has nothing in it yet. I'm going to do the most basic of campaigns. We're going to call this campaign August product release. And I'm going to click continue. And then on the next page, this is where the magic happens. So this is where I assign a group to the campaign. Who will I send this campaign to? It's the group of people who filled out my form. And if we remember, that group is called product release emails. So here it is, product release emails. This is how we tie it all in together. We created the group at the first stage. Then we created the form and an action step that assigns those customers to this group. And now we're saying, send this email out to anybody who was added to that group. So Act is going to manage the group membership and the group subscription all at the same time. I don't have to do anything else. Okay, I'm going to leave the rest of these fields alone and click Create. And this is going to build my my workflow here now for the campaign. So we've seen this workflow before, not this specific one, but we've seen a workflow inside the landing pages area. This is a workflow for a campaign. It's just a little bit different. Before we adjust this workflow, let's make sure that all new contacts to our group get added to the campaign. And what I mean by that is as new contacts get added to that group, after we activate this campaign, I want to make sure that those new people also get put into this campaign after we begin it. And the way we need to do that is we need to turn on the list sync for this campaign. This list sync just says, okay, I've sent out the email. Has anybody new joined the group that I should send out the email to? And I want to make sure this is turned on so that it does do that automatically. Currently, the list sync is off. So I'm going to turn it on. And then I have to choose how often do I want it to check that group for new entries. I could either do it daily or hourly. I think daily is probably good enough. Check it once a day, maybe early in the morning. We'll say maybe 6 a.m. And we'll put even on Eastern time so that when I start my day, I want that group ready to go. Now I'm going to set an end date for some time in the future when I think this August release will be over. I'm just going to put it at the end of August. I think by that point, I probably will have pulled that form from my website. I don't want anybody signing up for an August release if August is ended. So for now, I'll just leave it like that. And we should be good to go. I'm going to go to my actions menu and click save here. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is make sure that I have the correct email assigned to this campaign. So when I click the send email box here, it's going to give me a lot of different options on things I want to do, but I just want to edit the email content. I want to make sure I'm using the template I just created. So when I click go, it's going to show me a template, a really generic email template. And that's not what I want. So as soon as this loads, we'll see, okay, this is just a generic template. This isn't what I designed. I don't want to start over and design it again. Instead, what I'm going to do is go to my actions menu and I'm going to import my templates. This will look at all the templates that I've created that belong to me. And I'm going to look for my August new products template and import that. That's the template I just created in the previous steps. So as that loads up, puts in all the features, I can just review it and see if I want to make any last minute changes. I could do that now, but I'm going to say that everything looks good here. Before I send this out, there's a couple things I have to do. I have to assign a subject line to this email so that my customers will actually open it. If I go to my actions menu and choose properties, this is where you'll change the subject line. And in fact, you can't even send out an email unless you change the subject line. Act won't let you send this email out until you change this. So we have to change it. So I'm going to change this subject line to say new products for August. If you want, you could add a merge field here too, just like personalizing it. If I wanted to say new products for August, comma, Susan, I could merge that first name field in here as well. But that's all I'm going to do. I could even change this step if I want to. I'm just going to leave it as email step, and I'll click update. So it's going to save those changes. Now we'll see my subject line appears in the top left. And so I'm going to save this. And I'm just going to go to my actions menu and choose return. This will take me back to my campaign workflow. Now from here, we could add additional steps to this campaign if we wanted to. If we wanted to add more emails or maybe actions like creating activities or opportunities, updating contact fields and more. But like I said, I'm keeping this simple. I just want a really basic campaign that has one email and that's it. Now this arrow at the beginning tells us when this email will be sent. If we leave it as instant, then it's going to go out as soon as new contacts fill out the form on my website. So they fill out the form, they click submit, boom, they're going to receive this email. Okay. Maybe I don't want it to go out that way. Maybe I want it to go out sometime later. I could set a time interval as a delay in minutes, hours, days, or weeks, or I could set it to go on a specific date and time. There's pros and cons to this. If I change this to a hard-coded date, like say August 1st, for example, then it'll be sent out to everyone on August 1st. But anybody who fills out that form after August 1st will miss it. They won't get the email. So you have to decide the timing that you want to use best. I'm going to leave it just as instant for now, and we'll move on. Now, the next thing I need to do is go to my actions menu here and click activate. This step will then begin sending out those emails as soon as people fill out my form. It's going to take me to my activation screen where it's really taking some time here to inspect the email, to inspect the steps here to make sure everything is good. It has to do some checks to make sure that the subject line has been changed, to make sure I have an unsubscribe link, and so on. And so once it does all those, it either gives me a red X or a green check mark, telling me whether it's good to go or not. So if there are any errors, you'd have to review those and correct them. And then at that point, you can click activate and it'll send this email out. Okay, I'm not going to do that now because I don't have anybody to send it to. But afterwards, after it's activated, you can come back to your campaign and you can view the results. So I'm going to look at a previous campaign that I created here, and I'm going to look at the results of that. Let me go here. Oops, I didn't mean to click too much stuff. I have an old campaign that I sent out, I think, a few months ago. And let's have a look at that. I think it is my renewal email here. Yeah, that's the one I want. Just to show you what the results might look like. Now, when I click this, it takes me into its workflow. From the actions menu here, now I can view the campaign dashboard. This will show me the results for every email that is in the workflow, if I have several of them. Or I could click an individual email step. And on this email step, I could choose view email statistics. That'll just show me the statistics for a single email. At either rate, it's going to show you a dashboard with some statistics regarding the emails that you have. So this tells me I sent out 7 emails. I've had them opened 31 times. So people were opening this email multiple times. And then I've got some clicks. People were clicking on links in this email. So there's lots of different data that you can extrapolate from this using these campaign categories down at the bottom. You can really kind of look and see, for example, who are the people that opened this email? Who are the people that clicked on links in this email? What time, what date did they do these actions? So all of this stuff is available after the fact that you can see later on. And you can, of course, export this out to save it for other purposes. One of the other things that you can see is inside Act, if we want to tie it back into Act, is if I click the contacts area, I can search for one of my contacts who has received emails from me. So one of them is, her name is Sharon Wealth. And when I click her campaign results tab at the bottom, I can see the campaigns that I've sent to her over time and how she has interacted with each of my campaigns. Has she opened it? Yes or no? Has she clicked links in there? Yes or no? So you can view an individual contact's interactions with your campaigns if you want to get really granular and look at it from a person-by-person basis. Now, as you get more comfortable, you can build dynamic groups to represent how people have interacted with your campaigns. You can build Act Insight charts to display information like this in meaningful ways. There's lots of things you can do because now you're gathering data from customers who are opening your emails, clicking on links in your emails, submitting forms to you, things like that. You can use that information to be more efficient later on. Okay, let's see, where are we? Now, the last thing I want to show you is some setup tips here. I want to look at some of the basic account setup items that maybe you should address with your Act Marketing account, and things that you might want to do before you even begin. First, let's go in here and inside marketing automation. I want to look at the most basic account information. So when I go to my Act Marketing Automation area, I should see a link at the top called My Account. Okay, if I click that, it's going to show me my email address that I use for my account, my name, time zone, and so on and so forth. So this is the real basic stuff. This is the default email address, and so on. If you need to change any of these things, here's where you would do it. Don't forget to go to Actions and click Save. Next, I want to look at account configuration, which includes your company's physical address. So I mentioned that address tag at the bottom of the emails. Where does that information come from? Well, if you go to your admin area and then use this dropdown, there's a selection called account configuration. Choose that and click go. And this is what's going to show up as the footer in your emails. So it's going to show my address here, which will appear in the footer. So put in your business's real address here, and that'll show up then on the emails that you sent out. Now, some of you are beginning to use Act Marketing Automation, but you've used other marketing apps in the past, and you might have something called an email suppression list. This is a list of email addresses that have requested to be unsubscribed, right? So you've had people that said, please unsubscribe me, and you have to keep a list of them. You might have a list that includes not only unsubscribed emails, but maybe email addresses that have bounced because they don't exist. Somebody entered either a fake email address or they mistyped their email address. And so you don't want to be sending emails out if they're just going to bounce. Whatever the case, you may have a suppression list. So I want to show you how and where you can import that into Act Marketing Automation so that you're not sending out emails to people who don't want emails. In your admin area, in this dropdown, towards the bottom, we have our suppression lists. I'm going to choose email and click go. Now this gives me a list of all the emails that at one point in time have been marked as suppressed. Some of them are still suppressed. Some of them I've changed to be not suppressed. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. You can import your spreadsheet. So if you have a list of emails that are bounced or unsubscribed, this is where you would import that so that when you start using Act Marketing Automation, you're not sending out emails to those addresses. So if you have a spreadsheet or if you have those email addresses, here's what you should do. I'm going to make this a little bigger so it's easier to see. Create a spreadsheet with a single column, okay? The header should just say email space addresses. That's the easiest way to do it. And then underneath that, just put in all the email addresses that are either bounced or unsubscribed. One email address per line, and that's it. Save this spreadsheet onto your computer somewhere because now we're going to upload it. And the way to upload that is on this email suppression list screen. You go to Actions and you'll click Import. And so now it's asking you for the file. So I'm going to click Select. And I need to find this file, which I believe I put here. So I have this email suppression list file. I'm going to make sure I save that spreadsheet first and close it so that I have the latest stuff. Okay, so here's my email suppression list file. I'm going to click Open. It finds that file. And now I just need to decide for those emails, should I mark them as unsubscribed, bounced, or complained? So if you have 3 different categories, you'll need 3 different files so that you're assigning those emails to the correct region. In this instance, I'm just going to say all 3 of those bounced. And for source, I'm just going to put in a spreadsheet. And I'll click Upload. Now this sends this upload request to the system, and it's going to go through there, and I'll get an email as soon as that suppression list gets added. It usually doesn't take very long at all. But now that I've done that, I've got my suppression list, and those emails, new emails will show up here on this list before too long. Another area I want to show you about is called the jobs area. So in my admin area from this drop-down list, there's the account jobs section. If I click go here, this is going to show me how many jobs that I've executed inside Act Marketing Automation. It's going to show me things like campaigns that are sent out, what's the percentage of completion of those campaigns. So you can see that this suppression list that I just sent out is already finished. So it gives me this upload complete, telling me that those emails are now added to my suppression list. But if I change the date here to maybe the beginning of the year, and click retrieve, it'll update this list with other things. So I have a campaign that was sent out on March 22nd to 7 people. So it'll show every single job that's running in Act Marketing Automation. If you ever have a question about, hey, did that campaign ever get completed? You can come here to this jobs area and verify, yeah, that campaign has been sent out to everybody it was supposed to be sent out to. So it's a great way to get a quick answer on anything that might be running in the background. Another thing you can look at is inside this admin area, and it's called email transactional data. If I go there, this is useful in case you have a customer who says, hey, I didn't receive an email from you. What you can do here is check to see if what happened. Did that email bounce? Did it get rejected? And so you just put in an email address. I've got one here that I've used before. Put in their exact email address, and it'll show you every single transaction you've had with them. So in this example, this email address bounced back in December. And so it was added to my suppression list. And therefore, the next 2 emails that were supposed to go out didn't, because this person was still listed as bounced. So maybe they called me. And what I did is I went into my email suppression list and I changed that from suppressed to not suppressed. And then after doing that, I can see that the next email that was sent on March was delivered, and this customer actually opened that email and clicked some links. So I can see all the interaction I'm having with somebody. And this is a great way to kind of troubleshoot some problems if you have customers who are not receiving the emails. If I didn't show you this earlier, but if I go back into that email suppression list, for somebody who is a suppressed email like this, you can change that by clicking this X button on the left and then click update, and it will change them to not suppressed. Now, remember, you can only do this if you've confirmed with the customer that they want that email from you. If they're suppressed, especially because of an unsubscribe, it's really bad practice and can get you banned if you just subscribe people after they've unsubscribed, if you force them back in. But if they have emailed you, make sure you keep a log of that email to prove that they asked you to be added back in, and then you can come in here and remove that suppression so that they get put into a state of not suppressed. Okay. Now, the last thing I want to show you today, I know I've gone a little bit long. I hope you guys are okay with that, still hanging on the line here, is I'm going into Act Premium Desktop. This involves a bit of troubleshooting for those of you who are on the desktop version of Act, and this question comes up fairly frequently. I just want to cover it quickly here right at the end. This is for people who you're in Act Desktop, and maybe you're clicking on Marketing Automation, and you're getting an error like this, or you're getting something that says you need to install the Act Connect link. Whatever the case, you'll see one of 2 things. You'll either see this error like this, and if you do see this, what I want you to do is I want you to open up a browser window, and I want you to go to this URL. It's www.act.com/AMA-API. Act Marketing Automation-API. Now, if you are one of the other types of customers, I said one type of customer will see this little error screen. The other type will get automatically taken to this web page. You'll see this web page launch. And what you need to do is you need to install a little piece of software called the Act Connect link. What this allows you to do is in your desktop environment, it allows you to use the web API to connect to Act Marketing Automation. And so without this little file, you won't be able to connect, and you'll keep seeing that error. So what you need to do then is on this screen, just select this URL here, copy it, and then just paste it at the top. And what this will do is it'll download that little file in your browser or wherever you save your downloads from your browser. And once that download is finished, I want you to open it. So you can either click it in your browser or you can go to the folder where it exists. And what we're going to do is just install this Act Connect link. Accept the agreement in the wizard, click next, and install. We're not putting anything else on your machine. There's no malware or any like hidden ware of any kind on there. It's just a simple little file that's going to allow your desktop version of Act to connect to Act Marketing Automation and some other features. Once this thing is finished, we can close our browser window now. And I'm actually going to exit out of Act. Click this OK. And we're going to exit Act while that finishes. And once this is finished, I'm just going to restart Act, and everything should be working accordingly. Doesn't take very long, but there we go. Now we're done. So I'll click Finished. I'm going to launch Act again. I have a fairly decently slow virtual machine here, so it might take a moment or two for Act to launch. But what we're going to see happen is I should be able to get into Act Marketing Automation. Now, while it's doing that, I'll come back to it. But while it's loading Act, there's one thing I want to talk about, and that's an onboarding call that we have available to you, a one-on-one onboarding call. This is a personal thing that you can schedule for free. If you want some help getting started with Act Marketing Automation, I highly recommend doing this. Andy Wood has been answering some of our questions, I think, here today. He's going to walk you through an onboarding session, which includes things like account configuration. I barely touched on it. He's going to take you through the depths of that. Importing that suppression list. I showed you how to do that, and he'll help you build your own list and make sure that you are importing it. Setting up your footers for your emails. Building your first template. He's going to walk you through more of the details than I did in the short time that I was available to do that today. Building a campaign and even answering any other questions that you may have. This is a free resource. Take advantage of it. There's some phone numbers there. If you're in the US or the UK, contact your account manager and make sure you schedule that. I want to see Andy super, super busy over the next couple of months because you guys are all scheduling this call with him. Okay, I'm going to log into my database here just to verify that I can get to Act Marketing Automation now that I've installed the Act Connect link. But yeah, I'll put that up on the screen again in case you need that phone number. Yeah, so make that call and schedule that with Andy. Remember, Act Marketing Automation Basic is included with your subscription. You're already paying for it. It's not an additional cost. It's included with what you're paying for in Act. So use it. I mean, you may as well get the most out of it. And I think you'll discover that there's a lot of value in there that you're not tapping into just yet. All right, now back in my desktop here, we're going to click Act Marketing Automation. Like I said, my instance runs a little bit slow, so I kind of have to wait for this to finish launching. But we're basically at the end of the time. I think we've gone over a little bit today. So thank you for joining us. I mentioned this at the start. To view any of the previous webinars, go to act.com/explore, and that site, that page will show you all the previous webinars that we've covered, and it will let you sign up for future ones. You can drop us a line at team@act.com if you have something specific that you'd like to see in future training sessions. But that's really it. We're going to answer some Q&As. If there are still questions available, we'll be answering those now. I'll be clicking on Marketing Automation here to show you that the Act Connect link was installed. And there we go. Now, instead of getting that error, I see Act Marketing Automation because that Act Connect link is working for me. So thank you for joining us. We'll hang around for a little bit to finish the questions. I hope you all have a great week, and we'll see you next month. Bye-bye.